Hi, I'm Melissa from SoGoSurvey. It seems to some organizations, customer experience is the most important thing ever. And to some other organizations, customer experience is like a nice to have? I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be a big deal. Let's take a look at the changing face of customer experience with "Customer experience is dead, long live customer experience." If you've been paying attention to the business world recently, or even if you've joined us at all in the past several months, you know that customer experience is a really big deal. But a lot of organizations see that it's something that's a nice to have, as if the budget allows or if we have time. However, is that the right way to go? You can see signs point to no so far. So if customer experience is neglected, we know that communication today allows customers, prospects even, to share that bad news very, very quickly. So if something goes wrong, the stakes are pretty high, pretty fast. A company's bottom line can take a huge hit from that customer satisfaction. Again, viral, social media, all of those kinds of elements speed up processes that once took much longer to take place. However, you'll be perhaps surprised to know, based on many experiences that you have personally or that I might have or any of our colleagues here, sometimes people do not handle this responsibility well. And I want to say, don't you know that this is a big deal? We'll take a look at a couple of examples. So one here, I'm calling unstable cable. So this involves a real true life story about going home and finding the blue screen of death on my TV telling me that the box is unauthorized. So this is a very scary message, and there's an error message, so of course I called the phone number for more information, and this person asked me over and over again the same information and told me that if it was my fault, I'd need to pay for a service call. Frankly, nobody came off all that well. I'm not sure that I was at my best recognizing this sort of challenging situation that had arisen out of nowhere through no fault or even action of my own, it seemed to me. This was a very, very long conversation. Nothing was actually resolved. The agent asked me to wait for 5 minutes while I waited basically for something to happen. Nothing happened. He needed me to stay on the line for the entire time. And 5 minutes can certainly seem like a long, long time in an uncomfortable situation. So at this point, the agent scheduled a maintenance visit. The next day, I got a call, told me that my case was escalated. Great, that's good news. And so the person on the other end of the line told me to check immediately if my TV was working. Unfortunately, I was at work, so there was nothing I could do about that. And I wondered, is there anything that I can do on my own, or should I just call back? And they just said, oh, just call back. Luckily, when I got home, the TV worked totally fine, but pretty stressful situation. It made me a little bit cautious about turning on my television in the future. So, the opposite story. Good CX, let them eat muffins, we'll call it. So recently it's my parents' wedding anniversary, very exciting, so I took them out to breakfast in a local place near them. And the server asked where they were from, but because it's a hotel actually, and they mentioned that they were local, but they'd been in many times before. Later, after I told them that it was their anniversary, just sort of spur of the moment mentioned it, I didn't plan anything in advance, the server came with a sweet little chocolate muffin. Remember that it's breakfast, so we don't eat cake for breakfast. Although a chocolate muffin is pretty good. There was a nice little candle on top. It said, "Happy anniversary," very sweet. And they'd also given a local discount when I got the bill, which was very nice. My parents, they'd never actually gotten a local discount despite the number of times they'd been there. So simply mentioning it, and perhaps the special occasion as well, improved that experience. So two very different situations for basically service organizations, one in the hotel industry, one in cable in this case. And I sort of wondered, is the quality of cable that I receive related to the fact that I don't have a choice about my provider? Based on where I live, this is the only provider that I can have. Does this more or less monopoly impact the level of customer experience? Or are people in the hospitality just more hospitable? Certainly the name of the industry is a big giveaway, but do they have more to lose in this case, knowing that there are many hotels, there are many hospitality fields. It's broadening and broadening, as we know. So a lot of options there. So thinking about this, do the organization's leaders value customer experience enough to make sure that this is a part of their culture, their professional development, their training? Do the people on the front lines, as it were, know about the value of customer experience? And it's their job, so if they don't know, who does? So many questions here, so many critical answers, even just based on two specific incidents. So if you have some thoughts about what you're seeing in the real world, either in your organization or elsewhere, we'd love to hear from you. Please read this full blog here, a little bit more detailed story, of course, but Really, what are you seeing in terms of trends? Are people embracing customer experience? Do they seem to notice it at all, or have they totally ignored it and gone on in their own direction? And do you think it matters what industry they're in? I'd love to hear your thoughts. A lot going on in this conversation. Thanks so much for joining. I look forward to seeing you again soon. In the meantime, connect with us on social media at SoGoSurvey or visit our website, SoGoSurvey.com. See you next time.